the Gentlementor.
The only thing that really used to upset me was kid stuff towards the end before I was done. If something involved a kid, I would boo-hoo. I'd boo-hoo over some kid stuff. Anything else sucks, but at least it wasn't me, you know. Telling people their kids had passed away, stuff like that. That was hard, you know, and you'd sit there with them for an hour, 2 hours, just trying to answer questions and stuff like that. You know, there was one girl that she had been killed in a car accident in another state, knocked on their door at 2 a.m, said, are you the parents of this person? Yeah. Let's go inside. And there's no way to do it. It's like a Band-Aid.
Oh, yeah. At the point that you're in uniform and you show up at 2 a.m.
Right. I mean,
there's no secret.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know if you guys have done it, you know, working in ministry or something, but you come in and you do it like a Band-Aid. I'm sorry to tell you, but such and such has died. And then you just wait and see what their reaction is. Yeah. And these people were like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, this police department called, and they're like, no. And so the mother starts calling her phone. They don't answer. And then the detective answers the phone and talks to them, and then they're right there. They figured it out. Yeah. So, like, it's just, you know, horrible. So I don't miss any of that at all. Car accident victim, the one guy before I left, with a month before I left, he died. I was holding him. He just, you know, they were like, do CPR on him. I'm like, well, he's not dead, but he's going to be in a second, you know, and he kissed the side of a pickup truck with an open face helmet at about 70 miles an hour. So it was just, he had no chance. He had no chance. So, just, you know, that stuff just doesn't go away. So,
yeah.
You got to see the worst of humanity. What are some of the? I know you got to see some good things. What are some things that made you go? This is what I love. This is what I love about it.
Right. So whenever
this is Mark doing his glass half full thing.
Yeah. Exactly. So whenever you had a chance to legit help someone that wanted to be helped, when you could help somebody that wanted to be helped, put a bad guy in jail. You know, when you could do that or actually help somebody, it's a very rewarding career. It really is. If you like genuinely just going out and helping people, it's fantastic. There's no other job better, I'd say. One example I can remember is some girl was raped several years ago now, and all she knew, it was black guy about this tall, this weight. Never saw him before. She was walking back to her house from a Taco Bell, walking east, comes up from behind, pushes her in the bushes, rapes her. If you say anything, I'll kill you. Takes off running. So wasn't a whole lot at the scene. Take her to the hospital. A sane nurse comes in, does an exam. She comes out. She says, I'm going to need your camera. I'm like, is there injuries? She's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So she goes, takes pictures of her. I talk to this girl, get her whole story. She's like, I have no idea who this guy is. You know, it was a straight whodunit. She was a just sweet girl too, from a small town. She handled it really well. She was all together. And when I saw her at trial, she was very stoic. She was like, that's the guy. Like, very just on point. But anyway, she tells her story. It's like, man, okay. I go and check all the cameras at the Taco Bell, all the surrounding businesses. You could see the guy, but can't make him out. So the sane nurse does her exam at the hospital. They collect samples from her. They put it in CODIS. 2 years now, probably a year and a half later, they get a hit in CODIS from a guy in Minnesota that was arrested for a burglary. Detectives go up there, say, hey, you ever been to Springfield, Missouri? No, never been there. Perfect. Why is your DNA in this girl? Yeah. So 30-some years he got for forcible rape and sodomy.
Good.
So, like,
that don't happen very often.
No, especially that was a straight whodunit. Like especially with a DNA case, don't get many of those, especially in a rape.
Well, you need to get on one of them TV shows because on those TV shows they've always got the DNA.
They always solve it, yeah. But like
that's the problem.
Dude, that's the people that think on this came from a movie. I think it was Superbad, but people think there's DNA everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think it's Superbad.
Yeah.
Where they say people think there's semen everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't.
I just watched it the other night.
So John Mulaney, the comedian John Mulaney talks about, back in the 1920s when they had a crime, they were like, "Sir, there's a big huge pile of blood of the killer's blood in the hallway." And he's like, gross. Clean it up. It's like we didn't know back then. We were just like, oh.
Yeah, you didn't even have a blood type back then.
Yeah.
But now, gosh, they have all these tools. But just people think there's fingerprints and DNA on everything, and it's called in law enforcement. It's called the CIS effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you collect all that and then analyze it in a day and have your suspect in custody the next day. And it doesn't work like that. DNA rate. When I left, DNA took 6 months. It took 6 months to get DNA results back. 6 months.
Wow.
Fingerprints would go in a week or so. That's when we had a fingerprint analysis.
Yeah, you can do fingerprints locally, though. Most places don't have DNA locally. I mean, maybe in their state.
Highway Patrol Lab right downtown, but we're lucky to have that downtown.
They have DNA?
Everybody else in Southwest Missouri uses Highway Patrol's lab downtown. So we don't get backed up. They're in Springfield.
Yeah.
So any kind of forensic evidence that has to go to the lab, good luck, man. I mean, you'll wait forever. Somebody breaks in your car, there's a drop of blood. Great, they'll collect it, put it in evidence, but it costs, I forget how much money to have it tested. And a lot of the times they'll go, well, there was a phone charger and $35 or $3 and change stolen out of the car. We're not going to pay the $1,000 to have it tested.
Sure.
Nope. And your case gets tossed. So, and basically that's away with it.
You can tell me if this is right or not. I've heard this has actually led to, or people believe it's led to, decrease in convictions because people have this impression that there's always ironclad, DNA evidence in every crime. So people show up in a jury box and they don't see ironclad DNA evidence, so they won't. They won't vote guilty.
Yep. Absolutely right. They'll go not guilty. They think that you should have some kind of ironclad DNA, blood, fingerprints, hair, something, which is mostly all DNA, some kind of evidence there to convict somebody. There's no circumstantial evidence anymore. They don't accept it.
Right.
So
what we need is we need to make sure that the people that are in the jury box are the ones that have the Peter tinkle. They've got the spidey sense.
That's right. Exactly.
And they can go, there's something not right with this guy. Guilty.
Every time the judge or the prosecutor presents a fact, they should just do that little what's that NCIS sound dun 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 thing that they do, and right before you say something, and then people think it's true.
Yep,
because it's got the little
CIS effect.
Yep.
Or the Law and Order.
The Law and Order.
Law and Order. That's the sound effect. Law and Order.
That's it.
Yep.
Law and Order effect.
I can't watch that stuff, but
or flu. So yeah.
Back in the days, Perry Mason.
So when I said earlier that I say things that the girl that I was training, and we go to a deceased person call downtown at a crappy apartment complex, and this girl had called, said her boyfriend had passed away overnight in her bed while she was next to him. So we go there, we talk to her. She's like, yeah, he showed up. We've only been dating for 3 weeks. He came over. We had sex. He fell asleep. And then I woke up this morning, tried to wake him up to make him breakfast, dead. I'm like, okay, sure enough. I mean, he's dead. So I'm talking to the new girl, and she said this was her first phase of field training. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? She's like, well, we should do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, don't forget about this, 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 and this. She's like, okay, great. So she's taking all these notes, doing all this stuff. There's another officer there taking pictures. He takes a picture of the trash can, and there's the condom they used in the trash can. And she was like, and I was like, you need to collect that. And she's like, what? I'm like, you need to collect that. She's like, why? I'm like,
No.
He could have been some chick over here or something like that, and they set this dude up and killed him. Like maybe some other girl's DNA is going to be on this condom, or maybe it's not going to be his DNA on the condom. She's like, oh shoot. Okay. So she's like, I see her over in the corner. She puts one glove on, puts another glove on, gets the little plate. You have to put in
some
paper
tongs.
bags, little paper bag. She reaches in there and she's like, And this girl is a lesbian, by the way. So anything that involves penis is just totally.
Oh no.
Put it in the bag, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't help myself. I start laughing. And she's like, what? I was like, you really didn't have to take that. She's like, oh, you motherfucker. She's like, throws it down. She's like, I was like, but it's good training, though.
See, this is why I can't be a police officer.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be doing this all day. I was going to ask, did she realize that your instruction to collect it was like professional and not a suggestion of a new hobby?
Dude, I was stoned over. Oh yeah, I was. Like,
that's phenomenal.
Like I was going through a mental checklist. I'm like, don't forget this. Okay. I was like, and the condom. We need to take that. She's like, oh really? I'm like, oh legit, yeah, because this could happen. This could happen. This could happen. Oh okay.
Wow.
I was like, all right, well, do your thing. And then finally she got to that, and she was like, And then I still made her log it into evidence. I'm like, well, you put it in a bag, so
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah,
Dang it.
We wasted rubber gloves on this. You're cataloging it.
Hey.
We're already getting defunded. We're not going to waste rubber gloves and paper bags.
That's hysterical.
And, yeah, poor girl. So she's left the PD already. So, yeah. I used to make all my new recruits, and my field training officer made me do this, but your last day of field training, I used to make people go through Krispy Kreme and order a case of donuts and then get the hat, and they had to wear the hat the rest of the night. You can do that on night shift back then. You can't do it anymore. But you had to wear the Krispy Kreme hat the rest of the night. And, and we weren't allowed to take breaks at any donut shop.
Brutal.
You weren't allowed to be seen there. But at 3 in the morning, Krispy Kreme's open. So, I mean, so I would make them get on the radio and call out that they are taking a break at Krispy Kreme. And then when they came back into service from their break, they would have to say, I'm back in service with a dozen. And then wear their little hat around. And then you brought your donuts in at the end of the day, the end of the night. And then all the other officers on the squad would eat the donuts, and you had to take a picture with the hat on. So I have a few pictures with Krispy Kreme hat. That was
nice.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I have quite a few pictures of guys and gals with the Krispy Kreme hat.
It's good to know that there were some happy times too.
There were tons. There were tons. Absolutely. It's a great career if you can stick it out. So, and I just think it takes a heavy toll on family, and
it has to.
Just your sense of who you are as a human. I know a few people in law enforcement. I was thinking about that before. I know people in law enforcement, medicine. You were talking about the things that you've seen. I'm like, yeah, these are the people I don't play the let's try to outdo each other's stories game with.
No, you'll lose every time.
Yeah.
But I bet you all those people, though, they identify as a police officer, as an EMT. That's their heart and soul. That's their thing. Like they wear the thin blue line stuff. You could find their car in the parking lot,
right?
And when I left, I struggled with it for a long time. It's like, who am I now? Like, what do I do? That was what I was passionate about. Like, where do I go from here?
Yeah. When we lived in Moberly, there were a lot of dudes that were prison guards. Yeah. And there were a lot of, like you said, there were a lot of lifers, and then there were a lot of guys that did it for a couple of years, and they're like, I can't take it. Just the darkness of being in that place. Desperate.
I worked in prison for almost 3 years, and I needed out. I couldn't do it. So, and I mean, I was a cop for a long time. I've seen tons of crap, but it's just so depressing every day. You're locked up 8 hours a day. You're in prison 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere. Like, if you're sick, suck it up, buttercup. Nobody's going to come and relieve you. So it's not like there's employees waiting in the wings for if something happens to you to come in and say you can go home. No, you're responsible for your 150 inmates and you in a housing unit. 150 dudes and you. So, yeah, I mean, I met a lot of great people there. It was a great experience. You learn a lot about human behavior there. I mean, just watching people, because that's all you really do is watch people.
It's like a lab.
It made me a better cop for sure. I mean, because, you see people and you know that just by their eye movement, their body language, the way they carry themselves, you know they're up to something shady. Like some dude just walks in the housing unit, not a care in the world. He lives in that housing unit. You see the dude come in and start doing this and looking around. He's looking for his buddy because he doesn't know what cell his buddy's in.
Right.
He doesn't belong in that housing unit. He's coming in there to buy dope or stick somebody. That's what he's in there doing. And you don't have to know everybody in that housing unit, but all you have to do is watch their body language.
I was about to say this. We did the same thing in church ministry. We looked for the person that walked in going, oh, because you're new.
You're not
aren't
from
you?
here.
Yeah, you're not from here. Yeah.
Yep. And all you have to do is for a while, like I used to.
They weren't there to stick anybody, but probably to buy dope. I don't know. In our youth ministry, they certainly were.
I used to work overtime at Walmart all the time to assist loss prevention there. And they do nothing but watch cameras in there. They just watch cameras. And they have great camera systems. And you sit in front and watch the people coming in for the most part. And when they come in, you just know. I mean, you could just pick them out. Like, that's my horse right there. And you follow them around, turn up, they're sticking stuff in their purse. Or they're just walking around the store doing this. And you know they've already concealed something, so you just watch them a little bit longer. Or they're just staying in one section, circling. They give away themselves every time. Every time. So it wasn't hard to find one. So, and I evidently what was called a shit magnet. So every time I would show up, someone would show up and try to steal stuff and run, fight. Like, dude, I'm just trying to make overtime money here. They pay me really well. I just want to sit here and look official. Nope, you're gonna make me do police stuff. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had to deal with the people who are really invested in their careers and doing this.
Right. Yeah.
Not just pedestrian criminals.
There's just, it's funny if you look at crime maps, probably just in about every city, there's always big red dots right over the Walmarts.
What about the Dollar General?
You know what? No.
Really?
Walmarts in town here, at least, every one of them are big red dots over them. And I mean, you go from shopliftings, robberies, stabbings, kidnappings, you name it.
But to be fair, stabbings and kidnappings are just during Black Friday.
Probably. Yeah.
And I didn't mean that racially.
I almost.
Do they have any branding? Do they do branding at Walmart?
You can buy the tools there. So
maybe you get one of those little kiosks in the front where the optical place is and the hair care place.
Yeah.
When those go out of business, set up a branding place in there.
Eyeglasses, nails, taxes, branding. It's all right there.
You get one like, you make a key. You just stick your arm in and it brands you.
Ooh, hey.
Just pull it out. Yeah.
And
just swipe
self-service, just like everything else at Walmart. Self-service.
Laser engraving.
Get those old. Remember the old the blood pressure machines, and you sit down and stick your arm in that thing and rip your arm off for like a quarter. Get those and retool that into a branding machine.
And don't tell anybody. And let it. and then hide. And then we watch the cameras at Walmart.
If you put some lights and glitter on it and make people think that's like a bonus prize, they'll love it.
Glitter.
Congratulations.
Woo, we got winner.
You're a 100 branded customer.
Here, just bite down on this.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. So it just, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten into pursuits. I had a huge IA investigation one time from working at Walmart. Almost shot a guy in the vestibule. Foot pursuits. I mean,
we all know how painful that can be.
Man, yeah. Just ridiculous.
If you've ever been shot in the arm, it's nothing compared to being shot in the vestibule.
No, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the whole time it's over small stuff. I mean, the guy almost shot. He had like $20 worth of stuff. And he's trying to walk out. And I'm just like, man, just put it down. Just put it back. I know you have it. No, I don't. I brought this
Nope.
in. I'm trying to return it. I'm like, no, you didn't. I've been standing right here for hours. Like, it's 1 a.m. You're high. I understand. Nope. He tries to run, tackle him. He gets an arm free and pulls out a knife, and he's trying to open it with his hand out here. And
Was it a stolen knife? Because you need a knife.
That's
you
why
need
he
a knife
couldn't
to
open
get,
it. It wasn't his.
You need a knife to get the knives out of the package.
to open it, and thankfully, like, I pulled out my taser and tased him, but the spread wasn't enough in the back, so I was like, well, if he gets this thing open, I'm just going to have to shoot him. So I started dropping elbows in the back of his head and pulled out my gun and stuck it to the back of his head. Well, as I did that, one of the cleaning crew came up behind him and stepped on his hand and pulled the knife out of his hand. That's probably the only thing that saved that dude's life.
Wow.
So, and I was like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, man? So finally get him in handcuffs, and he's spitting on me and doing whatever else. I'm like, it was 30 minutes before I went home, man. Now I'm going to be here till like 4 a.m, you know, so just stupid. And believe it or not, the guy that intervened got reprimanded by Walmart
For intervening?
because he touched a customer.
Yeah.
Wow.
That part does not surprise me.
Wow.
Oh, I found out about that because he saw me. I was there a couple days later. He's like, hey, you know, I got reprimanded by my manager. They threatened to fire me. I went, what? And he's like, oh, yeah. So the next time I was there, I showed up early and made sure the store manager was there. I'm like, you guys have lost your mind. And I went off on him. I was like, you want cops to show up here, but you're going to pull that? I was like, to the point where he probably saved this guy's life or saved me from getting stabbed, and he gets reprimanded and threatened with firing? What? Why? He's like, well, he put his hands on a customer. We don't have a choice. Yes, you do. Well, what if we get sued? I think you'd win that. You know, I think you'd win that. Pull the video.
In Missouri.
First of all, I wouldn't classify him as a customer. He wouldn't be classified as a customer, in my opinion.
Yeah, don't make the customers mad.
Yeah, customer's always right. Well, he has to be a customer first.
I don't want to like decrease the level of
Customers
importance
first.
of this work, but this sounds so much like when I was substitute teaching. It really does. There is this thing in teenagers where they're like, if you would just admit to it, we could let this all go. But they insist on denying. I just watched you do it. Wasn't me. It's like, oh, that's infuriating. Man, that makes you want to smack somebody. Put your hand on the floor. I'm going to stand on your hand. I know you don't have a knife.
It's like,
I think there's
wasn't me.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of us, though, that really think that if we say we didn't do it enough, that the other person is going to actually go,
We'll believe it.
oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, if you're not backing down, all right, even though maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw,
Right.
or I misjudged it.
If only Oswald had tried that.
He didn't get a chance.
I wasn't even in there,
That's
man.
true. He didn't get a chance.
He kind of didn't get a chance. Jack took care of that. So
Jack said guilty.
Oh, man. I was eating a pimento cheese sandwich, man.
There is, I don't know if you've seen it, and I would hope it's available on the internet. I have a friend who's a barber, and he had that, and this was pre-Photoshop, but he had that image in the police garage where Ruby shoots Lee Harvey, and there's like the police around, and they had put in like guitars and microphone stands, and it looked like a band playing.
he's doing the like
Yeah, he's like this with the microphone stand. Oh, it looks great.
That's
It's a
hilarious.
killer
Oh, my
image.
goodness.
Yeah, he
Oh
used
my
to have
goodness.
a giant poster of that hanging on his barbershop
people
wall.
are so creative. I'm not that creative.
Yeah, and this, like I said, this was pre-Photoshop. This was back in the early '90s. He had this,
Oh,
so
man,
somebody
that's-
actually had to sit with an X-Acto knife and do all that work.
Oh man, that's great. Mark and I have had a lot of conversations about stuff we find on the internet. It's like I wish I come up with stuff like, man.
Well, it's funny because half the stuff that you send me, I pass to Doug, and half of the stuff that Doug sends to me, I pass to you.
probably just use Doug's phone number. We can have a little group.
I'm finally making this connection because this is like two guys that like appreciate the type of comedy that we see on the internet.
And
It's like,
90% of it
this
is
is gold.
we should have thought of this. We
yes,
should have thought
that's
of
the
this.
problem.
Oh, it's so
That's the
stupid.
problem.
Yeah, it's like half the inventions in the world that
Yeah.
people make $1 million on and be like, That's the stupidest thing I've ever thought of.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, part 2.
Yes.
Part 2. Yep.
Because we've already talked about it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Yes.
It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? So.
It's the truth, though. The worshiping videos, man. Instant I saw that guy squeaking a chicken, doing worship songs, squeaking a rubber chicken. I'm like, I should have been here first.
That's one of the things I'm playing in the office, and Sean's like, "What the hell are you playing over there? What are you doing? What is that? Turn that off."
That tiny hands.
It's just great, yeah.
Or the baby hand.
Baby hands. The baby.
I've got a bag full of baby hand accessories sitting in my dining room.
And Mark shows up with them. I'm like, that dude's had to make several $1 million with just little rubber hands. That's all. Just little rubber hands. And everybody's got a pair now except Sean. But I mean, they're on sticks now. Mark put them on sticks. I sent him a TikTok video the other day, and it was, what was it, a cat?
Trendsetter.
The cat? It's like, I can't get enough. I can never get enough. And then I told you, Doug, and I showed Doug my mittens that the team had for me.
I was there the week after you got the mittens. The week you got the mittens. Yeah.
Yes, and it's just
oh my God.
The love of the baby hands. It's been overwhelming. So thank you for all your support.
I still think the best video is that what's his name? Is it Copley? That pastor from down in Texas, the COVID-19, the Wind of God one.
Kenneth Copeland, yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
COVID-19. Yes.
There's hours of entertainment with that one. And all that dude did was put it to a song.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Yep. To 5 million views right there. Just the stupidest thing you can imagine.
Who's the guy, Doug, who does the bass plucking based on what people say? And he did something to Kenneth Copeland where it was like, and God said, he goes, dur, dur, dur.
Oh,
that's you will go to hell. Dur, 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 dur.
Mono Neon.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
He does that with all kinds of video clips.
Yes.
He'll play like the melody of people talking.
Yes.
You didn't realize there is a melody to people talking until he's playing along with it.
Right. And you're like, holy cow, that's a real thing.
Or the bad lip reads where they do it over the NFL stuff. Oh my gosh, they're great.
Yep. Everything Star Wars they've done has been stellar, especially the songs.
Another one of those things that we should have been like,
should have been us. It should have been us.
Should have been us.
There was no technology.
The other day, and it was Vader and Obi-Wan, and it says Star Wars in 60 seconds, and it's Vader going, "I'm surprised you showed up," and something else, and Obi-Wan just goes and drops his lightsaber through the Death Star, and you hear all these people, oh my God, like on the radio. Even now, it's going to war. Oh no, someone needs to stop it.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
But all he does is just grab it and go, drop it. And it goes right down to the core. It's hilarious.
And blows up the Death Star.
And it just blows up the Death Star.
That's beautiful.
This could have saved all this time. He's like, but the best part is everybody on like the different levels are like, oh, I just cut off Steve's arm. Someone needs to stop, and it's heading towards the core. Boom.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. I have to look that one up.
If I find it again, I'll send it to you. It's hilarious.
That is so funny.
But yeah, I'm not that creative. I'm handy and I can fix things, but I don't have a creative bone or a rhythm. I wasn't blessed with any of that stuff, unfortunately. So, but I sure do enjoy the internet. So
yeah, I feel like we were really creative and there was no technology, and then the technology finally caught up with us, and now we're not that creative anymore.
No, we're not. Yeah, it's not our.
It's like laughing.
Well,
at stuff.
it's not. We got to a certain point in our age where we had to like actually make a living, right? As adults.
We couldn't gain all these skills that they.
And then technology finally got to a place where
I think I'm on the wrong podcast.
No.
What podcast is this?
Because you and I had 2 VCRs going, trying to make a video.
That's what I'm saying. Could you imagine trying to make one of those videos?
Hooked to a camcorder. And so, yes.
You're going to need 2 VCRs and a camcorder and a bunch of willing participants and a budget for wardrobe. I mean, you can do this stuff on your computer now. It's totally unfair. You think of something you could make it 30 minutes later. We had to actually go do stuff.
Yeah.
Or remember when there was a song on the radio you liked and you can record it?
Pause.
Yes.
You had to keep that record button on and had the pause.
Yep.
I got to be ready.
Pause,
Both fingers on it. And then,
And then it went to CDs and you could transfer it, you could download and make your mix CDs. No. That's where my skills kind of fell off after the mix CD.
It's all about dedication. When you're making mixtapes with the pause button, you're dedicated. You got to be in there.
Darn.
You got to stay, even if you're not really listening to the radio, you got to be paying attention to that DJ. When you hear that local announcer come on, you got to get ready because he's going to drop the needle and you got to be ready.
Right.
And it's going to be something you don't want.
We have this artist, and this artist coming up. You'd be like, ooh, put your double tapes in, your double tape deck, like, 5 feet tall, and then just be ready.
Yeah.
I would give anything.
Always miss the first couple seconds, but you'll get it.
Yeah. You get like 3 false starts, and then finally a real song you want in.
No, but then you become skilled in listening to the inflections in Casey Kasem's voice to know what artist that he's talking about. And so
coming in at number 1 this week.
This is it. This is my Prince song I've been wanting to get on tape right now. Go.
Or you got your records and you recorded your records.
Yes. Yep.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Yeah. I still owe Columbia House like $900.
My wife was having a hoot the other night.
penny.
She brought that up in front of me, and the girls were like, "What? What are you talking about?" So she told her like the 13 CD, or it wasn't CDs, it was albums or cassettes for a penny thing, and they were like, "How could that even happen?" I'm like, the miracles of mass reproduction.
I've been trying to get rid of clutter lately, and I found all my CDs, and we're talking the original Stone Temple Pilots core from 1993 I still had to
nice
whenever the iPod became a thing.
Yeah, Mark made me sell all of mine.
I have all this stuff digital.
Burn them.
I donated them all. I was like, I don't need these anymore. Like, some of them might be worth something. I'm like, I don't want it anymore. Like, boxes of CDs, like, here you go. And
physical media.
The guy at donation, but it's like, thanks.
Why are you bringing this? I own one CD. It's the Prince 1999 Batman soundtrack that came in a round black tin with the Batman symbol on it.
Nice.
That's the only CD that I own.
Wow, don't let me see that.
I won't. That's why I haven't told you about it until now.
You'll have to call Sean and have him come run some fingerprints and stuff. And I'll make it fun for you. I'll leave some DNA.
Leave some DNA and a condom in the trash can.
You can figure out where it came from.
Sticky. Ah, dang it.
John, do I have to pick up this condom? Because it was just a CD.
Just put it in the
There
bag.
are so many jokes I want to put in that space. Just not enough time on the internet for me to do all the jokes.
What are you talking about? We've got all the time in the world, man. It's the internet. It lives forever. It's immortal.
I feel like we need to have a DNA collection podcast. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now, here's a fun thing. I'll bring this up because we're totally off the rabbit trail. And you were talking about fun things to watch on the internet. You guys familiar with Dan Bell at all?
Who was it?
Dan Bell?
No.
Dan's kind of one of the early YouTube guys. He's got about 1,000 different channels and videos, but my favorite thing that he does, he has this series called Another Dirty Hotel Room. And so you go on his website and you recommend the most disgusting hotels and motels, and he takes a team and they go there and they take DNA swabs and the black lights and all that stuff, and they rip the place apart. It is so amazing. And it will make you never want to stay in a hotel again.
I don't ever want to see that. I don't ever want to see that.
But he goes to some real dive places. Like, they take the mattress up and there's like crack vials under the bed and blood stains and all kinds of of stuff.
North side of town.
Oh, it's bad. It's
We
bad.
got a few of those here. We got a few of those here on Route 66. I'm sure. Don't we?
Flagship, right on North Glenstone, right by Carnegie.
YouTube another dirty hotel room.
I will. I'll recommend the Flagship.
My wife is like, she's got such a bad like gag reflex and can't take anything gross, but she will sit and watch episode after episode after episode of that.
It's like Hoarders. You can't not.
Yeah.
watch it.
Like a car wreck.
Totally
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I can't watch Hoarders. You said Hoarders or Quarters?
Hoarders.
Quarters?
Yeah.
Sean, I don't know. Are you catatonic? What's going on there, man? You've been sitting there with your eyes closed for like 10 minutes.
You've been frozen for like 30 seconds, but it's fine.
Sorry.
We can hear you just fine, but
I don't know. You might be pooping. I can't tell for sure. That could be a poop look.
Is it? Am I all messed up?
Now your audio's there. You are. Now you're back. Your audio was working the whole time. Just your
yeah,
image.
you were just fine.
You went freeze
All I did
frame.
was tap the screen.
You were like this.
You were like Ed Bassmaster with Mr. Face going. Talk about stuff on the internet when he goes to Home Depot and does those videos. Have you seen those?
What are we talking about?
Ed Bassmaster. He's the one when Black Ops came out, the game, he would call up video game stores. You guys got Black Ops? Yeah, no. Yeah, you got Black Ops? We got them in my neighborhood. You don't have Black Ops? I need to order a copy of Black Ops. Sir, you mean Black Ops? No, it's Black Ops. But he does
That is racially insensitive.
He does this thing where he goes into like a Home Depot or something like that, and he'll just be talking to the attendant, and he's already placed the camera on the shelf, and he's talking to somebody. He's like, "Yeah, I've been wanting to know if I can get this thing and if I can put it in my wheelbarrow, move it to my." And he'll just do that for like 10 seconds, and the guy will go. The guy working at Home Depot, or whatever, it's like, what's going on? And then he'll just stop and go, yeah, because if I can get in my wheelbarrow and get it down the hill, and then I can get it over into my yard and stuff. And the guy's
hilarious.
He just
I knew a guy with Tourette's that actually did that.
Right. It's just random faces
Yeah.
like that. He does.
He would lock. This was before the internet, so we didn't have a joke to make about it. But then we felt bad for him. Back then, it was bad. So
He's the guy. He's the Ed Bassmaster's the guy that does that when a guy's selling in the car. He's like, well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Well, by golly, would you look at that?
now,
This car was made in 19. But well, would you look at that?
we were doing reaction videos, and we stumbled on this guy that does really funny pranks, and they're funny because they're so ridiculous. Because anybody can do prank videos now.
Yeah.
So this guy took like a computer and filled it with black beans, and then called the tech support guy that comes over to your house to look at your computer. And the guy's like, yeah, your computer's full of beans. Do you see how the processor's in here? It's full. Are these things the processors? Then the same guy did another thing where he filled part of his suspension with SpaghettiOs and took it into the garage. And they opened it and like SpaghettiOs are pouring out of the transmission. And he's like, this is food. This shouldn't be in there. It's like, those are transmissions? Oh, it's funny crap because people.
Oh my goodness!
Kind of like that thing we were talking about before. People are unwilling to believe things. You're standing here listening to someone who can't identify the black beans inside their computer, which is filled with black beans. You're being pranked, but these people never seem to catch on. But the same guy did one also. He did a joke one about the ice cream machine at McDonald's always being broke. And so he posed as a repairman and goes into McDonald's and tells him he's there to work on the ice cream machine. He has the employees coming over and like hitting it with a hammer and stuff. Here, tap over here with the hammer while I listen. He's got a stethoscope and he's listening. Tap it over here. It's funny stuff.
That's funny.
He did a bunch of fake video game covers and took them over and tried to trade them in at a GameStop.
Yes,
oh,
that's him.
Man.
Call of Jury Duty. That's him. And that one
Same
girl
guy.
Like,
Same
these
guy.
are hilarious, but these are not real video games, but these are hilarious.
That's great.
It's a real kind of, what do they call it, meta sort of prank. You got to kind of be outside of it. Yeah.
That's
My son
hilarious.
showed me those.
But
They're
that's fun stuff on the internet there. And worshiking.
Worshikin. It's fun stuff. Which they have merch now. You can get a Worshikin t-shirt.
What's a worshikin? What's worshikin?
That's the chicken.
It's
a worship.
The rubber chicken that squeaks.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes.
And the guy does worship songs with the
Yeah.
With the rubber chicken.
Yep.
Another one of those things somebody stole from a dream I had. Kind of like the bad lip reading. Man, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I could have done this. Couldn't have done it that well.
Oh,
It would have required a couple of VCRs and a video camera.
What's his name? The Ozzy Man reviews on Facebook. That dude's hilarious. And all he does is throw out the F-bomb and say stuff with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
It's all about delivery.
Yep, it sure is.
Yep.
Sure.
We were inspired, Sean. We were inspired when Doug and I were younger. We were inspired by Mr. Bill. Do you remember Mr. Bill on Saturday Night Live? The clay.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We did a few of those. We did our own parodies. We did parodies of parodies. That's what we did. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We invented that.
Yeah, we invented the parody.
We invented YouTube.
We
did it back before there was the internet. You had to actually go door to door with your videos.
Yes. Except we went door to door and we brought children in to watch the videos. Well, that doesn't sound very good, does it? Hold on, let me back up a minute. Yeah, we're just going to end this right now. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Is that why you're not allowed within 500 feet of the pool now?
Yes, that's why.
Understood. Yeah.
That's why Mark's always carrying that enormous tape measure with him. I'm legal. Because you got to stay 500 feet away.
500? Is it 500 feet? I thought we were down.
That was his example. I was just going with the joke.
2 masks and 3 feet, right? 3 masks and 2 feet, right? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
5 masks and you can kiss? I don't know what it is.
I saw on the internet today that somewhere in Florida they're having a 1 million person mask burning party coming up soon. I was like, of course it's in Florida. So
actually,
it's either going to be in Florida or Missouri.
Florida man.
So I'm curious. So if I got a, and I was actually thinking about this morning, and I would probably get in a lot of trouble for it, but if I made a fake vaccination card and hung it around my neck like an FBI agent on a CSI and walked around everywhere without a mask, went into every coffee shop, every restaurant, Walmart, Target, everything without a mask.
As long as you got your laminate.
As long as I had that. Yeah, I'm talking about having it on a chain right here. Here's my vaccination card. And people are like, sir, you need to put on the mask. I'm sorry. I have the
only thing I think of Wayne's World when they go backstage and
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm showing it as I walk through without a mask on.
Yep, exactly. Someone says something, you just be like,
yep.
Got it. Yep. Don't even acknowledge their existence.
I'm tempted because we can't even do that. If you're vaccinated, you still have to wear masks.
It's all about authority. I went in Walmart the other day. Every person in Walmart's wearing a mask. You know who wasn't wearing a mask? An 80-year-old woman. You know why? Because who's going to tell her what she got to do? Nobody's going to mouth her. She knows. And if they do.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Doug, and let's bring this conversation back around. What you're saying is,
I will pay to see you do that.
I'm doing it right now because this is what I do.
You're gonna have to bring it.
What you're saying is we've all fallen into that cycle of being indoctrinated.
Oh, where's my checkbook?
Just like
Keith
Raniere, Jeffrey Epstein. We've all been brainwashed.
Want Venmo?
Yes, please.
Don't do that. You'll get.
Hey, I've been watching this podcast and I was wondering if I wanted to donate, how could I do that?
Yes, Venmo, Doug at Planet Drage.
Ooh, baby, make it out to cash.
Make it out to cash. So we're all subject to it. There you go.
Subject to what?
The brainwashing.
Oh, well, sure.
We've all been Keith Raniere. We've all been Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, here's the thing: is they've been doing it since before we were kids. Most of this stuff started in the post World War II. That's really what you're looking at. Post World War II is where this kicks off. I mean, you want to look at where it really kicks off? Go back to Garden of Eden. Then you can start there, and we can come all the way through all of history. You don't really need to.
Post World War II, what were we forced to buy refrigerators and houses?
No, Operation Paperclip. We brought all the people that we spent 5 years trying to kill, and we brought them over here to run our space program.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, yeah,
that's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Von Braun and all those guys were all ex-Nazis. Yep.
You know.
There was another guy, I watched a documentary.
They had rocket knowledge.
They had a lot of knowledge.
Zero rocket knowledge. There was another one. It was a guy he was an interrogator for the Luftwaffe, and his tactic was to be super nice. He would go on walks with the airmen. He would offer them coffee, cigarettes, and all this and that. And after the war, he was so good at what he did, the FBI and CIA hired him. And they developed an interrogation program based on all his knowledge and experience. And then he went on to work for the government to do something else.
No way.
He was a nut. Bill pawned him off to the SS.
Would you like to take a walk with me? I want to tell you about how much we have in common.
With me.
I love America.
I am so turned on right now.
Would you like to go to the moon? I would like to tell you how to go to the moon.
What's the line from Saving Private Ryan? Betty Boop, nice dish. And remember Betty Grable, nice cans.
Oh, man. Should have shot that dude.
Should have. Yep, they should have. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. That was a bad deal. You watch any of this? You guys are we on the topic? 2 hours and 16 minutes. I want to guess no or not.
We're 2 hours. Well, you started recording for Sean got on, I think.
Oh,
so.
okay. The Hitler thing on the History Channel, Hunting Hitler. Have you watched any of that?
No, I haven't.
That's fun.
I have a hard time with any History Channel search documentary things because there's so much. What do I want to say? There's just so
drama.
Much
production.
Yeah, production. It just come on. A lot of the stuff. This road. They could have definitely landed an airplane.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they spent 20 minutes on this road.
So what we need is the guy who does Star Wars in 60 seconds to go back and do all these documentaries over again.
Or at least that one.
At least that one, yeah.
Watching the Hunting Hitler thing before I got so fed up, I'm like, this is stupid. Or the treasure. What's the one guy that's looking for the treasure on the East Coast?
Oak Island.
The
Oak Island guys. Yeah, that never ends.
For a decade.
That Oak Island stuff's been going on since I was a kid, yeah.
I know, and you spent an entire hour and we found a half of a bone. We don't know if it's animal or human.
Right.
What, an hour? And that's what I get?
The Hitler stuff was interesting just because, this is one of those things where push Hitler aside and just look at what these guys are going through, and the information that they're going through tells us that Nazism did not stop in World War II.
Oh, no.
Nazism was full-fledged in South America. They were making a second attempt full on. And it's Hitler or not, it's maybe somebody should have been doing something about this.
Yeah, they sure did.
I think the Israelis were trying to wrap that up for a while, weren't they?
Well,
back in the 50s and 60s?
They were, but here's the problem is there's another religious group that was helping.
Helping the Israelis or the Nazis? The Nazis. Oh,
that one.
Another religious group. Oh.
I don't want to name any names. Of anyone who might wear a pointed hat.
Are you wearing a house on your hat? Are you on your head?
But boy, for a group of people that didn't seem to care that much about people getting murdered all throughout the war, they certainly had an investment in taking care of people getting away from that war. And boy, did they spare no resource helping people relocate from Europe to South America.
Oh,
they were
sure.
very involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that makes me go, crimes against humanity, anyone? Let's see. Who's our contestant today? Well, you know him for persecuting Jews and molesting children. It's the Pope. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
But here's the nice thing. The nice thing that
sorry, I wasn't going to say names. So.
I was trying to cover up because I knew the Pope's already on us.
I'll edit it.
Okay. He's already on the hot list.
Here's the nice thing about that. All those people.
I'm talking trash on the CIA and the Pope on the internet. They're coming
in the same podcast.
I know. I'm
the Illuminati after you.
But here's the thing. All those
Mossad
people,
will be next.
All those people all those Nazis that were escaping and rebooting themselves in South America, we now have their grandchildren in plastic cages in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look.
Pull that one together, Doug. Go and go.
Domino effect of history.
I'm out. I think you won. I think you won round 3.
Oh man.
Is it? They were re-baptizing these people and giving them new names. I mean, when I grew up, then the Red Cross and the Catholics kind of helped the Nazis. Like, no, they didn't kind of help. They had an exfiltration system in place.
Oh yeah,
they were
boats.
Yeah.
Some people think submarines.
Absolutely. Well, they go into this in the Hitler show. They go into the submarine aspect, and like I said, I don't have to have Hitler be alive or anything just to enjoy the information coming through it and go, oh wow, this is stinky.
It's amazing the amount of information that they had released.
And here's the thing too: if you don't make Hitler the target, then you have to deal with that stuff. As long as we have Phantom Hitler out here, we can all look for him and pay no attention to the Pope behind the curtain. Sorry, go ahead. I've babbled.
I read something the other day from an ex-CIA agent or something like that said the next round of information that's released about UFOs, what is the word that he used, will be extremely shocking or something like that. I mean, the U.S. already has said, yeah, there's UFOs. They're vehicles not from this earth. Isn't that the term they used? Not from this world.
Yeah.
Vehicles not from this world. But he said the next round of information that's released will be shocking. It's like, we talking butt probe stuff or what? Like, where are we going with this?
I'm curious. What kind of shocking?
I've heard that as well. Yeah. I'm gonna be. I will be shocked if they shock me.
The best part was when they released all this information last year during 2020. No one batted an eye. They're like, "Oh yeah, all those vehicles are not from this earth." Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
The Tic Tac and all those.
But the virus is bad. Wait a minute. The government just said there's aliens. Oh.
And then we have a pandemic?
But you better put on your mask.
Purely coincidental, I'm sure.
Like, wait a minute.
My aunt lives in England, and she wrote me an email. I think it's been 2 weeks ago, and she was just infuriated about this Meghan Markle and Harry thing. This interview they gave with Oprah.
Yeah. See, we need Charlie on.
Literally like 4 paragraphs I get from this woman, and she's not this kind of person. And she's going on and on and on. And I just finally got done, and I'm like, what do I reply? And my reply was, but did you notice what you're not talking about? You're not talking about Prince Andrew. Mm-hmm. And that's, people, you may find this hard to believe. Some people label me a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
I never picked up on that at all.
Most people don't. It's under the surface. I keep it hidden.
It hasn't taken long. 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Well,
and the older and dumber I get, the more conspiracy theory minded I am. And the more I look at the news and stuff, and I look at it and go, is any of it real, or is it all just a distraction? Are they simply making this stuff up to keep us from looking at what's really going on? Because inevitably there's like some huge news thing, and then some, our modern, the National Enquirer kind of headline thing will pop out, and everybody forgets about the real thing. Yeah. And but Harry and Meghan, they were oppressed. It's like, come on, people, wake up.
Yeah. Poor Harry and his struggles
that guy. Can we have a telethon for him?
Really? What, he only got $30 million from Diana? I mean, that's
what the world needs now.
I mean, what kind of parent are you when you only leave $30 million to your children, to your son? What kind of parent are you?
You're not doing enough. Let's
face it. You're not doing enough. You're a failure as a parent if you're leaving any less than $100 million to your children. Each child.
But he's the future Prince of England, sir. Like, he should be entitled to it all.
Yeah, no, they cut him off. So what is really going on, Doug? I don't know what's going on. I don't know
either right now.
What is it we're not seeing with Meghan and Harry?
Oh, I don't think it's Meghan and Harry. I think it was. I have become so paranoid that when I see a news story and everybody's talking about it, I immediately go, "But what's really happening?" Because this seems like a setup. Sorry to hate to use the phrase, but this is the planned media event. This is what you're supposed to pay attention to. Okay, what are you distracting me from? So I start going, what else is going on? When I hear things like this, there was, you mentioned the UFO thing. There was a report that came out, I think it was back in November or so, that the NASA and CIA were going to let out a bunch of stuff in 180 days. They were going to release all this information for the first time. And so I'm waiting for this date to hear what this information is, because I think they're still not going to tell us the truth, but we'll, incrementally you get closer.
Yeah.
If you can use your Peter Tingle and kind of back up and see the broad strokes and not get caught up in the stuff that they're selling, that you begin to see the picture. And the picture seems to be, or at least it was, like I said, there were all these reports, we're going to release all this highly classified information. And then about a month ago, it was like, oh no, that was already released. They were not really released. That was a bunch of people talking on the internet, and they got the dates wrong and stuff. And just like he said, within probably I've noticed it like in the last 73, maybe 48 hours, I'm seeing these stories again, that they're getting ready to release this information about UFOs. You know my theory. I've told you my theory. I think that's what the whole thing comes down to, is that they are going to try to market this UFO salvation, basically. Mm-hmm. We are unable to govern ourselves. We are just too caveman-y and ugly. Oh, look, it's our leaders from on high. They're bringing us peace. They're going to help us. They're going to rule us and teach us how to do. And it's not really aliens.
And it's not really, yeah.
That's the joke.
Right.
Because if, like I said, you can go back to the Garden of Eden and you can go, well,
Antichrist.
let's see, who first disguised themselves as a reptile? Who did that gig first? Who invented that? You want to give Satan credit for something? There you go. Yep. He invented dressing up like a reptile. Listen to any UFO guy you want, David Icke, on down the line. What do they talk about these aliens being? Reptilians. That's Satan. The whole thing, man. I'm telling you, we've got the truth, and we've had it all along. We just can't see it.
Can't process it.
Yeah, it's too big. So that's the whole purpose of what's gone on for the last 10 years, is to run fear up and chaos up and make human beings lose faith in humanity, which arguably there's good reason for that. But success. So that we are ready to accept the power from on high, who's come to bring peace and knowledge and safety. So when they show up, we'll all go.
The Geico Gecko is going to be the next one who's in charge of the world.
Isn't the joke that what's his name, Zuckerberg, is actually a reptilian? You've seen that, right? The joke is he's a reptile or something.
No, I haven't seen that one. No, I didn't.
He's an alien or reptile in disguise or something like that. Because when he talks like this, and there is no emotion. He's an alien. Matter of fact, I saw a video or something the other day where somebody had said this on their podcast, and like 2 months later, he gets a cease and desist order from his lawyer, and it says, you have to apologize for calling him a reptile.
But that has got to make you feel so good about the coverage your podcast is getting.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I would love if we could get a cease and desist letter. I would feel like we had made it.
Even if it's fake, make me feel better about it.
I'm going to hang it right back here on the dome.
I'm gonna nail it.
I got some clothespins. I'm gonna pin it on a bar back there.
Remember that time we got sued by Zuckerberg? That was awesome.
Best wishes to him.
Right.
He's gonna clean me out for about $36.72. I hope he enjoys his retirement.
Yep.
I'll give you my train.
You put that away. Don't let him see that.
Don't let him. Yeah.
Sorry.
He's coming for your train.
He's already seen it.
That train and all my guns were lost in a boating accident.
Boating accident.
That's why all them lake and river levels are rising.
That's right. Yeah. Strangest thing. Deepest part of Table Rock. That's where they went down. So.
That's funny. I gotta find this Nerf Glock. Apparently, this is a thing.
I saw another picture of it today.
Because I acquired a nice Glock that I really like. I want to get out and shoot it, but
you got a Glock.
I don't want to spend $900 on a round of ammo.
Why not? It'll be so much fun.
Good luck and fun.
I'm done.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
I can find it. I just can't afford it. There's a place here in town. It's like Thursday morning, man. It's like somebody threw bread at the park, and all the pigeons have come to roost.
Oh yeah.
This place, like Thursday morning, we've got ammo.
It's the same guy.
Really? Can't get ammo at the Bass Pro.
Nope. Not unless you buy a gun.
Which, I mean, isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, it ain't the worst thing in the world.
Do you have to buy ammo for the gun you buy?
Presumably.
I don't know.
That would be quite a loophole.
Because I have plenty of 22 ammo. I have plenty of 22 caliber ammo. I need 9mm
I'll
ammo.
take this 22 rifle and any 5.56 you've got behind the counter. Oh wait, give me 223. 223 is almost 22.
Yeah, no, that's close. Pretty close. Pretty close.
Just a little bit more powder to it. That's all.
Tiny bit.
Okay, here you go. I found it. On the way. So
Nice.
So yeah, good luck with any of that. I know I've talked to the people from Academy, and they're like, it's the same guys there every morning. They buy their 2 boxes and go, and then the next morning they're back, buy their 2 boxes, go. So I just need to get up early and go over there before work or something, and go buy a couple boxes for a couple weeks and replenish my supply. So I used to have
ammo
5.56, and now, well, I still have a lot, but I could use more always. So, because the zombie apocalypse. No. I mean, I don't have any of those guns anymore.
You dropped all that while you were fishing.
They were right. Exactly.
Just buying ammo for old time's sake.
I like to have them around.
A friend of mine always said the 2 things you need to purchase are silver and ammo.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was years ago. This was years ago. A doctor.
There's a Spanish thing, a Mexican thing. What is it they say? It's on Narcos. It's silver or lead, but in Spanish it almost rhymes.
Oh.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that something
that's
something that was in the Sunday school song? Silver and lead have I none. Oh, it's silver and gold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Sunday school that Pablo Escobar run.
Pablo Escobar.
You have a choice, silver or lead. What will you choose? I hope you're not dead.
So I need to buy what? You guys are the gun professionals, and I don't know. What do I need to purchase?
I don't know.
If I'm looking for 9mm, what do I have to have? I can't even read this.
Money and a place that has it available will be the 2 difficult.
No, what is it I need to purchase?
Like gun wise or ammo?
Ammo wise, if I've got a 9mm,
I'd get the 9mm. That's what I'd go with.
Is there anything particular?
What do you want it for? Well, if you want to go plink buy something cheap. If you want something for self-defense, buy some hollow points and put them away.
Yeah.
Well,
if you want something for self-defense, I could bring something to you.
I've got a couple boxes.
Bring it to me. He don't
around.
want it. He's known you for years and he hasn't asked for it. I want it. Bring it to me.
This tip. What is? I don't. I'm not gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it.
Don't kill yourself.
How many
That could go off.
What is on this? What is on this tip? That's a little. It's
That's
like
a hollow
silicone.
point.
Is
It's
it
a hollow point. It looks like a hollow point. Hold it up to the camera.
Silicone bead.
Hold it up to the camera.
It's got like a little silicone bead in it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just hollow point.
That's a hollow point. Okay.
Yeah. So it goes in that small and it comes out about that big.
Oh,
And
nice.
That bead will disappear. You won't even notice it.
Yeah.
Won't feel it at all.
Great. So I shouldn't target practice with these. These are strictly self-defense.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Them's for the stopping power.
What's the one that deteriorates or explodes when it goes through walls? So you don't like shoot your family through the wall.
Frangible round.
Frangible. Okay.
So that's what air marshals carry and stuff like that. So you don't get over penetration, basically.
Right.
Ooh, is that available? Is that an option on this flight?
You don't want that?
Does this flight have a movie? What about over penetration?
Sorry, I don't have that problem.
So you don't want.
I've only heard that. This is
So I've heard.
It's a myth.
That's right.
Yeah, they say some of the people wounded at Las Vegas were wounded with frangible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
There were people coming in thinking they had been shot with pellet guns.
Really?
Yeah.
Rangeable AR rounds?
Well,
Yeah.
From the grassy knoll.
here's-
It was from.
Right.
It was up on the grassy knoll.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
one of the big problems you have with Las Vegas is they didn't do any forensics. They didn't match guns to wounds or ballistics to wounds or any of that stuff. They just let it go because they assumed this was the guy. And one of the problems is that a lot of the guns that they showed in his room don't match the wounds that people got. There's also a really high percentage of headshots. Really high.
I haven't read enough about
Which
that.
would mean what? He was really good at
I'm not conspiracy theorying here. I'm just
really
telling you
good
some
at,
facts that are
Call
like,
of Duty?
well, that's odd.
That is a bit odd.
A guy spraying machine gun fire from a hotel room, taking that percentage of headshots. I'm not saying it can't happen. Not saying it can't happen.
Not machine guns, bump stocks.
Yeah. Because that's more accurate.
I could put down accurate fire with a sub. I don't know about not so much with a AR, but MP5 I could put it in like this. Now, not from several hundred yards away, because
Well, sure.
but within 25 yards, I mean, you could put 3-round bursts in like that. So, but just spraying from a hotel room at the 20th floor into a crowd of people.
Right. Yeah. He was. Yeah.
It seems a little odd. There's some odd things about it.
About it, I'm just. But if
That's
they
funny.
don't, if they don't have optics or anything like that, headshots would be incredibly difficult.
So what if he had a bump stock with optics? Wouldn't that be easier?
Stupid. There's no point. Like, yeah, I mean,
He'd have a black eye. That's what would change. That would be your forensic evidence. Oh, clearly. And he was an idiot.
And
yeah, and we have to factor in he's an idiot.
Yeah. Lots of the most interesting thing about Las Vegas to me is the FBI report or lack thereof. Compared to other incidents and the amount of time spent investigating, I think the Las Vegas report is something like a page and a half or 2.5 pages versus what would normally be 50 to 100 pages.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a guy showed up, he was mad, he had guns, he shot a lot of people. It's like written by a third grader.
yeah, so we have more investigation over the election in 2020 than we do.
Was there a problem with the election?
Panhandler on the south side of town than you would that.
You can't talk about election stuff on YouTube. It's just not allowed.
It's not allowed. I'm sorry. You'll have to edit it out, I guess.
Great, Mark.
You're welcome.
More words. Zuckerberg. Who's
something for you? Something for you to do.
Man.
Zuckerberg's a woman. Is that what
I'm going to spend all day tomorrow with these lawsuits. I'll probably be writing legal briefs till 2 or 3.
You know what was funny is in that Val, the documentary about the Nexium stuff, is like they wouldn't let that come out because it was the Las Vegas shooting and the Harvey Weinstein stuff that was coming out. And they
what
were like,
else?
Nexium?
Yeah.
I
Would
don't know.
you be surprised to find out that one of the candidates in our last election was involved? Would you be surprised to find out that her parents are, first of all, mom's a member of the highest echelon and dad was their accountant? I wonder why nobody got to hear about any of that in the news.
Yeah, that's
Kristen Gillibrand. Both of her parents,
Can you say that again?
Nexium members.
I remember that name. Yeah.
Check it out.
Interesting.
Check the court documents. It's
wait. I
legit.
can't wait.
I know it's old conspiracy theory, boy.
I can't wait. I'm gonna be in New York next week, and I'm like just an hour from Albany.
Don't forget your volleyball shorts.
I'm like, I need to go. I need to put my hair in a ponytail and go play some volleyball.
Hey guys, who wants to start a cult and get branded?
Hey everybody, look! I got
a volleyball.
I got a volleyball and a beard.
You guys like Kool-Aid?
That's hilarious.
Yes, apologize for that. That was wrong of you.
Sorry.
You crossed the line.
Come on, Jim.
That's That's where that comes from.
That's funny. All right. Well, this has been great. So I don't want to.
This has been a hoot. Thank you, Sean, for doing this,
even
man.
longer than they have to be. So.
The Gentlementor.